Right, hello fellow collectors. Right, today's the day when I do the video I thought I'd never make. It's the occasion of my 1000th subscription. In actual fact, I didn't even know that I'd reached 1,000, and I'd like to take this opportunity to apologise to anybody who has commented in the last week or so, and I got back to by way of a reply because my notifications are failing. They've gone haywire and I'm not getting any notifications of subscriptions or comments. But it means I'll have to go through and have a look through all the videos that I've done and see if there's any comments need answering, but I will do that. So my apologies for that. So here we are, 1,000. Now, there might be a few people out there who are thinking, well, 1,000 subscriptions, that's now to write home about. Some people get 1,000 a week. I dare say some people who do slick videos on popular culture get 1,000 a day. But this ain't a slick video channel. It's just me talking to you about collecting stuff. So just to answer that question, just to go back, to about 4.5 years when I started the channel, it was never meant as an ongoing thing. I just did it. I did 5 videos because I had so many PS3 collector's editions. I was well into them at the time. I did 5 videos about PS3 collector's editions and 1 video about Steelbooks, gaming Steelbooks on PS3. And the idea was just to pass on a few tips. And I thought, if we get 50, 60, 70 views, it would be worthwhile. Some people might have learned something, But then, I looked at about 6 weeks later and thought, oh, well, there's been a following that seems to keep going up. So maybe I'll continue doing them. So I did a few more gaming videos and then, they seemed okay, successful. And then that's when I changed tack. A little bit worried about changing tack away from games, but I just changed tack and it became a collecting channel, really. I mean, I've done all sorts of items, in the collecting area now. I've done over 40 videos, I think. But the thing is, there's no self-promotion on the channel. I don't belong to any social media. People who come to the videos just come to them via Google, I presume, or word of mouth. Look at that old Looney Tune on YouTube who does collecting videos, which is fine, as long as people get here. And so that's what I'm particularly pleased about, if not proud of, with the channel, is that people have just come to them. With any prompting from me, they just come to them. And also the fact that the channel has kind of evolved from its original intention. So yeah, I mean that's the why of this video. Now the what. I originally was going to do a my collecting life, sort of like a memoir, and illustrate it with a lot of my favourite collector's items from over the 67 years that I've been collecting since I was 4. But I thought, well, that's going to be a long video. And then just purely by coincidence yesterday, I got the last Steelbook that completed my set of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I thought, now there's a good idea. There's a lot of buzz around at the moment with the MCU because of Endgame and the fact that it ends an 11-year cycle of 22 films, is it now? And I thought, well, yeah, okay, why not mark the occasion with that? So that's what I'm going to do. Now, I mean, a lot of you will have seen some of these Steelbooks before in previous videos, but not all together. Now, when I say I've got the complete collection now, of course, that doesn't include the 2 films that haven't come out yet, Captain Marvel and Avengers Endgame. So I've got the complete collection as it stands. Okay, let's get straight into it. Right, I'm going to do these in order of which in which they came out. So the very first one is Iron Man, of course, 2008. Now, this used to be very, very expensive, but I did a bit of research before I started doing this video, and the prices are very volatile on eBay at the moment. When I say volatile, I mean there's a lot of variance. I mean, I've had a look at completed listings in the UK and what they've gone for, and there's a big variance these days in prices. I mean, this used to be three figures. Even a used copy like this one, I mean, it's in mint, but it's still a used copy. And sometimes there's a variance of like 20 to 25 quid on some of the older, scarcer Marvel Steelbook. So, that's a situation that's just come about because I've never really seen it before. But anyway, as I say, that's the first one. Some of you heard this story before, but it's worth mentioning again because it's so great. But I walked in the Kex one day and somebody had just sold a set of these Marvel Cinematic Universe Steelbooks just about half an hour before I walked in, and they'd literally just gone up on the shelf. And this and Iron Man 2 and there was one other, I think it was one of the X-Men First Class, which was quite scarce at the time, were all up for 6 quid each. Now, you won't get this any cheaper than, even in used and with the prices being weird at the minute, you won't get that much cheaper than 50 quid at the moment. Although, as I say, it just depends which day you go on eBay and which dealer you get. I mean, as I say, the prices are weird at the moment. So yeah, I mean, that was the first. It wasn't the first one I got, but obviously with the prices being what they were, I mean, I missed this when it first went up. It was sold out in hours. I think it was Play.com that did this particular one, and they're defunct now, but they used to do quite a few videos in the old days, sort of exclusives, and that's one of theirs. So yeah, I mean, that's still one of the more pricey ones. And it's in actual fact, it's not very easy to put together a collection of MCU Steelbooks these days, because unless you're a millionaire, it's a few of them, are 50 quid or more, and then the ones that are not so rare around about 20, 25 quid. So you can imagine 20 films at those sort of prices. It's a fair outlay. So anyway, that was the story behind that. Right, next we have the one everybody forgets about, the Incredible Hulk. That was of course the second Hulk film with Edward Norton. Now this one is sort of like fairly expensive now. As you can see, it's a lenticular cover. I mean, it's still sealed because I've got another copy of it which I can use to watch, so I left this one sealed. But that one is, it hovers around the 30, 35, 40 quid area, depending, as I say, on what day you go on eBay. But it's a one. Let's put it this way: it's one that's becoming scarcer. I know it was a film that not many people were sort of like too excited about, and I say a lot of people forget that. In fact, I had it stacked in my shelves away from the Marvel Universe stuff until I realised it was actively a part of. Then this was the next film that came out, Iron Man 2. Obviously, it wasn't as good as Iron Man. The villain was a bit ropey. And I mean, that was another 6 quid job, and this again varies between, 40 and 60 quid, just depending on who you see and when you see it. So it's another nice one to have for 6 quid. Now this one was another Kex special. Now when I walked in and bought this, it wasn't in very good nick. So I think it was a tenner, this one. But at the time, it was going for 80 quid used on eBay. Now, I mean, I didn't think really about whether I should buy it or not, but there was two downsides to this one. First, it's missing the, it's got a nice back cover, that one. First of all, it's missing the little, what they call J card that, you know, starts here in blue and folds around and tell you what's on it. It's missing that. And also the fact that it was grubby. I've buffed this up quite a lot. In fact, you wouldn't know it was a second-hand copy. Now I've got it up to mint condition. It's one of those nice embossed ones as well. So yeah, I mean, for a tenner, that was a jolly good buy at the time. Right, now this is my favourite looking out of all of the Marvel Steelbooks. This is the first Captain America. This has gone pricey now, actually. It wasn't so bad at one time. You could pick it up in kegs for, I don't know, 15, 20 quid. But I looked on eBay and the cheapest I saw was about 50 quid. So that's obviously one that's gone up in price rather than down like some of the earlier ones. But as I say, it's a lovely Steelbook. That I'll give you a closer look at that with the shield. And it's all present and correct with the J card, and I hate those things. I wish they were all like the later ones, which the next one I'll show you. It comes in a little sort of like cardboard pouch. These things you have to stick on with sellotape to keep them on. But yeah, that's one of my favourite Marvel films as well. I really enjoyed the first Captain America film. And then we had the first of the Avengers films. Now, if I turn that sideways there, you can see a little dink. Now, for a long time, I thought that I'd somehow dropped it somewhere or I'd bashed it, but apparently, and I've noticed this on a few Steelbooks I've seen round and about, this is some sort of production error. I don't know whether they use any machines or whatever to produce these or put covers on them or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I've seen this little dink on quite a few, so I can only imagine it's something that was there when it first arrived. When I bought it second hand, but I've definitely seen that little dink on it, and I wouldn't imagine people would go around sort of like going dink with the end of a fork or something, you know. So yeah, that's not one of my favourite covers. It's a bit bland, but you can pick that one up fairly cheaply. There must have been a high print run. And then sure I've got these in the right order here. Yeah, then came Horror of Horrors, Iron Man 3. Now I've said before on this channel, I actively hate this film. I detest it with a passion because of the way they messed about with the Mandarin, the main character. It's great up until the point where it was revealed that he was some hired comedian. Was it Trevor Slattery, played by Ben Kingsley? Yeah, I mean, Steelbook's not bad, but yeah, and it's quite cheap as well. I mean, everybody must have the same opinion of me that it's a crap film, if you'll pardon the expression. So it's not overly expensive. This one is. This one varies sort of like in price, around about 30 quid, but I've seen it dearer. That was the last but one I managed to get hold of, because I mean, I won't buy these. I mean, these ones that I bought second hand are ones that came up on Zavvi and kind of sold out straight away before I had a chance to order them. And this was one such. I didn't really like this film much, but Steelbook's nice. As I say, these later ones come in these nice little pouches where you can slide the film out easily, and there's no hassle with sellotape trying to stick it down all the time. So yeah, I mean, I thought the villain in that was pretty weak, and I didn't really enjoy it at all. But as I say, it is a very stylish Steelbook. And then that was followed by the Winter Soldier. Now, I mentioned to you that I completed my set yesterday, and this was the one, because this one was always a bit expensive, I thought. Because there again, it wasn't a film that I didn't not enjoy the film, but it's not one of my favourites. And the price on this used to be up in round about the 40s, so I thought no. But I actually found this in Kex, and it's in mint condition, as you can see. It's a nice debossed cover, and that was 25 quid. So I thought, okay, let's jump in and complete the collection, and there we are. There was that one, and then after that one came a film that I particularly like. It's the first Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, this is not one of my favourite Steelbooks by any means. The cassette on the front there, you know, that Peter Quill got from his mother in the film, but it is still quite expensive. I mean, the cheapest I saw it, I think, when I looked, was 50 quid. And this is a sealed copy, so it would, you know, if you're a sealed collector and you look for a sealed copy of that, you'd be looking maybe round about the 70 quid area, 75. The only reason I've not unsealed it, although I do watch it from time to time, is that I have another variant copy of it, so I've no need to unseal that. Sealing, you know, I mean, I'm not a sealed collector, as you know, but if you can keep a Steelbook, especially sealed, it keeps out all the elements, you know, and saves any risk of any rust damage from steam or anything. You know, we've got the kitchen next door to my collection, so I have to be a bit careful. Yeah, so that one is quite expensive. Right, and we come on to the second Avengers film, Age of Ultron. Yeah, I must admit, I wasn't overly enamoured at the cinema with this, but I had this horrible little kid in front of me that he was only about 3, kept turning round and going blah, blah. And I mean, I should have moved, because, you know, the family shouldn't have brought a little kid in like that. And it kind of spoiled the film for me, but so I didn't think much of it anyway. But when I rewatched it, I thought better of it. I didn't think they necessarily treated the Ultron character in the way that they should have. But that one's not an expensive one. You can normally get that for around about 20 quid or maybe even less. And then the next one up was dear old friend Ant-Man, who had a big part to play in the Endgame movie. I won't give you any spoilers for Endgame, just in case any of you, there's one of you out there that hasn't been to see it. But yeah, Ant-Man was a big player, and I quite enjoyed this film. It's one of the few Marvel films I didn't go out to see, because I'm not a big fan of the character, and I didn't like the look of the trailer. But actually, I wished I had gone to see it at the IMAX, because I quite liked it when I saw it. It's not a particularly good Steelbook, as you can see. It's just got the bullet hole on the cover there, and then the back is you know what I mean. So I mean, that's not by far and away not the best Steelbook I've ever seen, but it was Marvel. Right, and then this one is very similar. The Civil War, Captain America, third Captain America film, Civil War. Yeah, I enjoyed that one. That was, you know, action-packed, good story, an interesting shift in direction for the cinematic universe, and it's a nice cover. You know, it's sort of half. I mean, that half is very similar to the Captain America First Avenger film, but yeah, that looks quite nice. I think it's got a nice back cover as well. I'm neglecting to show you these back covers actually, but I'll not go back, but I'll do that on the rest of them. So yeah, that was Civil War. again, that's not mega expensive. It's around about the 20-25 quid mark, but I mean that's what they were when they came out. All of the Marvel steelbooks have been $24.99 as far as I know, and that includes the Captain Marvel, which I've pre-ordered, and the Endgame, which I've obviously pre-ordered. But of course they do more steelbooks now. You don't have so much trouble getting hold of them because they do another printing for 4K. So it's kind of split the audience, you know, split the buyership. So there's lots more to go around. Actually, I've just bought a 4K telly online, which will be coming on Wednesday. So I'll probably be delving into 4K very shortly. So it means I'll probably be buying some of the. I swore never to buy the 4K steelbooks, but because you've got a scope 4K telly, you will. Right. Anyway, that's beside the point. Here we have Doctor Strange, which was another. Doctor Strange was another big player in Endgame. Yeah, I must admit I quite enjoyed this out of the cinema in IMAX. It's quite a stylish steelbook as well. It's got the Eye of Agamotto with the time stone for the gauntlet, the Infinity Stone, and that's the back with some weird, I don't know what that is, some glyph, I don't know what they call it, but yeah, it was a decent film. That had some very nice scenes in it, especially in 3D, which I quite enjoyed. I'll just make a bit of room to show you the rest of these. Right, and then we had the second Guardians of the Galaxy film. It wasn't as good as the first one. It wasn't dire, but it certainly wasn't a patch on the first one. There again, it's not the greatest steelbook I've ever seen. And then what they were thinking of when they did that back cover, I just don't know. I mean, the front cover's now great, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, it looked okay in IMAX, but it's not one of my favourites by any means. And then this is the one I always forget about: Spider-Man: Homecoming. I didn't have that anywhere near my Marvel collection until it was pointed out to me that, hey, that's part of the MCU, mate. So I thought, oh, blinking hell, but of course it's a very annoying steelbook in as much as it's hard to fit in with the rest of them because it's got this fridge magnet on the front and it's in this daft case. So I'll just take that out, and I'm not going to mess about with this and show the back cover because it's one of these horrible wraparound J-card things. But yeah, that was Spider-Man: Homecoming. I mean, most of these I bought new off Savage. It's only the really early ones that I missed because they sold out in hours, minutes probably. So that was that, and then nice steelbook. Ragnarok was next. Yeah, I didn't mind this. The comedy was a bit over the top, but yeah, as a film, I quite enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Jeff Goldblum cameos as the Grandmaster, and I'll just show you the back of this because it's well worth a look. There you go. I'll put it to the light a bit more. Yeah, that's of course the helmet he used when he fought the Hulk in the arena. But that's one of the nicest. That's one of the nicest looking steelbooks I think that Marvel did, apart from the Captain America. And then we have, of course, everybody's favourite, which defied all predictions of bums on seats. Broke some sort of record, didn't it, for the number of people that went to see it in the first weekend or the first week or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it was okay. I wouldn't say that I loved the film, but it has the advantage of being a very nice steelbook. I like these stylish sort of surreal kind of drawings on steelbooks, and the back cover's very nice too. And it's silver, which gold, silver, and purple steelbooks. So I just love them. I've got films that I hate that have got gold or purple, and I don't apologise for it because you know I'm a collector. I'll collect anything. So yeah. Anyway, that was Black Panther, and my favourite film. Infinity War. Now, I was good old boy up there. He is Thanos. Thanos is my favourite character. Full stop. You know, all the heroes, villains. He's my favourite character, and has been since the 1970s when Jim Starlin introduced him to the Marvel Universe. Just something about that character, and they do it. I was worried, quite honestly, how they would treat him in the film, but I needn't have worried because Josh Brolin did a bang-on job and Marvel did a bang-on job with him, I thought. And I love this film. I mean, I've watched it. I went to see it in IMAX, of course, and I think I've watched it 3 times since then. And I just love that film. It's probably one of my, it's not only my favourite MCU film, it's probably one of my favourite films of all time. You know, it would be up there with my top 3 films. You know, it would probably just get in. I love it that much. And you know, it was the first part of the last film, Endgame, and yeah, they did a smashing job with that. Just loved it, and I was worried in case it sold out before I got a chance to buy it. But as I say, with the buy-a-ship being spread over 2 formats now, I didn't have any trouble picking it up. Pity about the back cover, actually, not so great, but front cover's brilliant. And then more recently, it was Ant-Man and the Wasp, which really you need to see. I didn't go to the cinema again. I didn't learn from the first mistake. I'm not going to see the first Ant-Man, but I really didn't like the look of this. Big mistake, because it ain't a bad film, A, and B, it leads you into Endgame. So anyway, I've seen it a couple of times on Blu-ray now, and it's a very nice steelbook. So now we're just waiting for, as I say, Captain Marvel and Endgame to finish the whole set of 22, but that's the full set as it stands. As I say, not an easy one to put together, so I was quite pleased when I finally managed it, and I thought it was a fitting film to put on a celebration video, you know, for 1,000 subs. I'll just mention that's not all of the Marvel and the MCU. There are some variants which I'll just briefly show you before we quit. Xavi did a reprint of Thor, but this only has the 2D version, I think, whereas the one I showed you earlier has the 2D and 3D versions. Strangely enough, I've seen this actually dearer than the original Thor. It's one of those that's kind of become a sleeper amongst steelbook collectors, and it's quite expensive now. 65 quid was the cheapest I saw, which is cheaper than the Thor. So yeah, that's one to look out for if you've managed to pick that up cheap anywhere. And then Xavi did a series of lenticular steelbooks. Well, you know me, I like lenticular covers. I've got a big collection. You can just see it behind me there. That's all my lenticulars. And Marvel reprinted a lot of the MCU films with lenticular covers. Most of these are sealed because I didn't need to unseal them. So that was the first Iron Man. That was Iron Man 2. As I say, most of these are sealed. That was Iron Man 3. you can see a bit better because it is unsealed. Captain America, the First Avengers, that was the original film, but still sealed up. And that's the Winter Soldier. That's why I didn't worry too much about the Winter Soldier completing the collection, because I did have a copy of it, albeit a reprint. I haven't got the First Avengers yet. I must stump up some cash to try and get that one, because it's an important one in the Lenticular collection. That's the Age of Ultron. That's the original Thor Lenticular, quite a nice one. Say sealed again, and that's Dark World. And then that's the original Guardians Lentic. And last but not least, we have the Ant-Man. I don't know how many of these I'm missing, because I don't know if they. I don't think Xavi actually did all 22, but I've got 6. I've got 10 of them. So if they did, I'm not even halfway, and I'll have to get me skates on. Okay, folks. Well, that's the celebratory video. I'd just like to, before I go, I'd just like to thank each and every one of you who've taken the trouble to subscribe, and of course each and every one of you take the trouble to watch the videos every 6 weeks or so that I do them. I'd just like to give a quick recommendation to you here. There's a new YouTuber called Yorkshire Lad. I've been looking at a few of his videos now. He's been doing quite a few over the past few weeks, but he's trying to get his channel off the ground. And a lot of his stuff is older games, particularly in the Xbox area, but he does a lot of pickups as well, similar to the ones that I do. So, yeah, I mean, if you look him up on YouTube, Yorkshire Lad, just pop over there and give him a bit of support if you can. And so until the next video, which shouldn't be too long, as I say, many thanks to everybody, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye now.